You know the sound of your partner's breathing when they sleep? That soft, steady rhythm that means the world is safe? For 10 years, I lived by that sound. I built my entire life around it. I knew my wife better than I knew my own reflection, or so I believed. The discovery started not with a shout, but with a silence, a quiet phone face down on the bathroom counter, buzzing with a notification that would unravel everything. This is the story of the day I learned that the woman I shared a bed with was a complete stranger, and how a single message on a locked screen shattered my entire reality. It was a Thursday. A completely ordinary, forgettable Thursday. The kind of day that blends into the fabric of a marriage. I'd just taken out the trash, the smell of cheap coffee and yesterday's takeout clinging to my hands. I walked back into our bathroom to wash up, and there it was. Her phone, sitting on the edge of the porcelain sink, a little bead of water near the charging port. She must have forgotten it after her shower. As I reached to move it to a safer spot, the screen lit up. Not with a call, but with a preview of a text message. The name was one I didn't recognize, Alec PT. Physical therapy. She'd been going for a tweaked shoulder from her weekly yoga class. It made sense. But the message, the preview was too long, too intimate. Asterisk can't stop thinking about last night. Your laugh is. The preview cut off. My own breath cut off with it. A cold, sharp stone dropped into my stomach. Last night? Last night she told me she had a late work webinar, a data migration thing that couldn't be interrupted. She'd been in her office, door closed, headphones on. I brought her a cup of tea at 9. She'd smiled, a distracted, screen-lit smile, and mouthed thank you. My thumb hovered over the cold glass. I knew her passcode. We knew each other's. It was a practicality, a sign of trust. In case you need to change the music while I'm driving, she'd said. In case you want to order food from my apps, I'd laughed. Now, that trust felt like a trapdoor beneath my feet. The logical part of my brain, the part that still loved her, screamed at me to put the phone down. To walk away. It was probably nothing. A misunderstanding. Maybe last night was a group PT session? A joke? But the other part, the primal, terrified part, had already taken control. My fingers moved on their own. Tap. 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 The phone unlocked with a soft chime, opening directly to the message thread. It wasn't a thread. It was a novel. A love story I hadn't been cast in. Months of messages. Not with Alec PT, but just Alec. The physical therapy had ended 3 months ago. The messages had not. The details were what gutted me. The specificity. It wasn't just I miss you. It was, I miss the way you traced the scar on my knee when we talk, the one from when I was 7. I told my wife I got it falling off a bike. He had told his wife a story about her. My wife. They had a bench. In a park across town I'd never been to. Our bench feels empty in this rain, he'd written. She'd replied, I'm sitting at our kitchen island, listening to him talk about his day, and all I can think about is the sunlight on your face yesterday at our spot. Him. That was me. I was him. A background character in my own life. I scrolled, my vision tunneling, the words blurring and then snapping into horrifying clarity. Plans made around my business trips. A shared playlist with songs I'd never heard her listen to. Conversations about a future, a vague, desperate future they both knew was impossible but fantasized about anyway. If we were free, he'd written. She'd replied, don't. It hurts too much to hope. The world in that bathroom, the beige towels we'd picked out together, her moisturizer next to the sink, the photo of us on a hike from 2 years ago, smiling and windblown, it all ceased to exist. There was only the pale blue light of the screen and the meticulously documented proof that the last 18 months of my life, of our life, had been a meticulously staged play. The dinners, the vacations, the quiet nights watching TV, all of it had been happening while a parallel, secret life pulsed just beneath the surface, recorded in thousands of texts. I heard the garage door rumble open. Her car. She was home early from her errands. The sound was like a gunshot. I fumbled, locking the phone, placing it back on the exact spot of damp counter, my hands trembling so violently I almost dropped it. I splashed water on my face, the shock of it doing nothing to clear the hurricane in my head. I walked out into the hallway as she came in, grocery bags in her arms. "Hey, you," she said, her voice bright, normal. The same voice that had texted him, "You're my real home." She looked at me, and her smile faltered, just for a microsecond. A flicker in her eyes. She saw it. She saw that something in me had broken. "You okay?" she asked, setting the bags down. "You look pale." I opened my mouth. I meant to say, fine. Just tired. But what came out, in a voice I didn't recognize, flat, dead, hollow, was, "Who's Alec?" The color drained from her face. It wasn't a slow fade, it was instantaneous, as if someone had pulled the plug. The casual, loving mask she wore in our home shattered, and in its place was raw, unadulterated terror. The bag in her hand hit the floor with a thud, a tomato rolling out across our hardwood floors. In that silence, filled only by the hum of the refrigerator, I didn't need her to answer. Her face, the sheer panic in her eyes, confessed everything the messages had detailed. The woman standing before me wasn't my wife. She was a stranger who knew all my passwords. And the life we'd built together wasn't a home anymore. It was just a house, filled with the echoes of her lies and the devastating, silent wreckage of a truth I could never, ever unknow.